This is the one thing that is limiting your income. And shockingly, it's not your sales skills. It's time management. Now, this topic comes up at almost every single live event that I've been at. I do a Q&A at lunch, which you are about to see. And people say, hey, can you talk about time management? Because in roofing sales, the number one limiting factor on your income is not your ability to sell, but your ability to produce what you sell. And that's why time management is so important. Now, I want you to watch this video all the way to the end because I'm going to break down a lot of different concepts of time management, how you approach time, how you look at your own time, and how you calculate the value of your time. I'm even going to lay out some steps that you can take to structure your days to be as efficient as possible so you can learn how to operate like the highest income earners in roofing sales. Now, let's get started. Time management came up. Do you guys want me to talk about time management at all? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to walk you through an exercise you're going to hate. You guys ready for this? Why do I say you're going to hate it? Because it makes you look at yourself in a different way. So here's what we're going to do. Grab a calculator. Everyone grab a calculator. This is private information. Don't share it with anybody. You don't need to share it with me. What you're going to first put in the calculator is what you earned last year. Total income. Okay? That's your top number. And then you're going to divide that number by 2,500. And then what number did you just figure out? Your EHR. I just heard it. Your effective hourly rate. Oops. Your effective hourly rate. This is what you actually make per hour. So many people will say, hey, man, you know, I made like who's heard this? I made like $2,000 in an hour. I just knocked this door and got a sale. It's like, no, you didn't. That's cute. Remember the like 3 days before that where you worked for 8 hours and got nothing? And remember the adjuster you still have to meet? Remember the homeowner you still have to serve and your CRM you got to update? We get so skewed on what we actually make per hour. So when I did this, by the way, let me just break this down. How did I come up to 2,500? There's 50 weeks in a year. Excuse me, 52 weeks in a year. I'm giving you a 2-week vacation. 50 weeks. Is it fair to say in the roofing business, 50 hours is like, I don't know anyone that works less than that. That's actually making money. Is anyone else working less than this and actually making money in sales? You own a company. That's different. Anyone in sales working less than 50 hours a week making money? Perfect. This is I was working 7 days a week, in 6 days a week, 12-hour days frequently, which is, by the way, more. What's 6 times 12? So I was working like 70-ish hours a week, normally. So when I did this exercise, even though that year my bonus was a 1991 Corvette ZR1, I felt like I was on the top of the world. I did this exercise and I was like, I just have 2 full-time jobs because of the hours that are worked. So many people, they say to themselves, well, I want to make more money, so I'm going to work more. And this is the one thing I don't like about the like 10x mindset. You know, do more to get more. The antithesis of that is reading. Jimmy, did you suggest 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan? That book changed. By the way, that book led to what we're doing. A large part of it. So Jimmy, you inspired that. What was that? Yeah, exactly. We'll talk after this. We'll do a rev share model. Jimmy recommended this book to me, 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan, which is a fantastic read. So many people say, hey, to do more, to make more, I got to do more. And I realized that I did that, and then I just had 2 full-time jobs. My effective hourly rate didn't change, but I made more money. So the way that I look at time, by the way, now that you know this number, let's have some fun. Divide this number that you just got, divide that by 60. Divide that number by 60. We're getting granular. What did we just do? We figured out what your time is worth per minute. There are some people in this room where that number is really high. And there's other people in this room where that number is really low. And it doesn't matter. Because guess what? You both have one thing that's the same. It's the same minute. Our job is to increase what Brendan Bouchard calls our PQO, prolific quality output. That is the sales activities that generate results. Now that we know this and we know the value of a minute, you can covet that minute like your livelihood depends on it because it does. So when you jump on social media, which we all fall victim to at times, I shouldn't say all, many of us, The average time that someone spends in social media when responding to a notification, a push notification, is 20 minutes. 20 minutes. How many times do you guys try to leave Facebook or Instagram and you leave it and it just brings you up to a new news feed and you find yourself scrolling like, what the hell did I do? And then you leave it and then you come back to the top and you're like, holy shit, it happened to me 3 times. This still happens to me to this day, by the way. So people are stealing your time. Social media steals it. Your friends that text you and distract you, your family. When I'm working, I don't respond. I don't respond to my friends or my family. I'm working. When I'm present with them, I'm present with them. When I'm working, I'm back to working. That dollar per minute will change how you look at a minute of your time. And if we look at our day, we've got 12. I know I need a 24-hour clock, but if I held a gun to your head and said you have 2 hours to make sales, pick any time window in the entire day and make it count, when are you going to go out and knock doors? Okay? I love that I said 2 hours and someone said 3 to 6. We went to the same math class. I also heard 4 to 6, by the way. It's all good.
That's right. I'm slow.
I am too. I have messed up math in my YouTube videos that have lots of views of people correcting my math. You're in good company. So this is the 2-hour chunk of time that we can make money. Now there's 3 activities and only 3 activities that actually make us money. Prospecting, closing deals, getting referrals. That's it. Prospecting, closing deals, getting referrals. There's nothing else that you do that makes you money, period. Nothing. If you have 2 hours of the day that are the most lucrative to do this, what should you be doing in those 2 hours? Prospecting, closing deals, getting referrals. So when it comes to time management, we have to understand that not all time of every day is created equally. The window of opportunity is where we need to leverage those key activities. Next thing we want to do is time block. So there's stuff that we have to do that doesn't make us money but is a necessary evil. Things like updating our CRM, doing follow-up calls, taking our photos and documentation, and admin work. And then we also have other things like direct mail. Like if you're using my system, direct mail makes you money, but I'm not going to do it here. This is prospecting activity that doesn't require getting in front of people. So I do time batching, where I sit down and I'll knock out all CRM activities in one sitting, and I do that at about 7 in the morning before my day starts. My follow-ups, I'm going to call people about 8 a.m. because catching people on the commute to work is the easiest time to catch them. My photos and admin work I'm going to also do in the morning, but I can get back into that from like 9 to 10 when I'm not in front of people. And then my direct mail I'm going to do in the evening after I have the addresses of every house I knocked and no one was home. Now I know while I'm sitting there and watching a show, doing whatever, it's mindless work to just stuff envelopes and write addresses on a letter. So when I can structure my day effectively, I can leverage those 3 key activities, again, prospecting, closing deals, and getting referrals to the best times of the day. And Saturday, I know it's going to open up about 11 to, about 10 o'clock to about 1 o'clock. This is my weekend, my Saturday time window where it's ripest to be in front of people. I do have one weird belief that I'll share about time management in a second. First, every day ends by planning tomorrow. Who's doing this currently? Raise your hand. I know I've got people in the room. Fantastic. My guess is the people that raise their hands are the highest income earners in this room. In fact, I'd be willing to bet a load of money that everyone that raised their hand who plans their night for tomorrow, that night, probably out-earns everyone who didn't raise their hand by at least 50%. Why? Because if you wake up and you have no idea what you're doing, you're wasting your time and you will not make money. I've got my time planned out for the next month. I've got my big things planned out for the next year. I don't plan just my day, I plan my week. In fact, I was actually doing that on the flight in here. So plan the night before. The next level is planning your week in advance.